You can even go with some basic things, but to sit there and say, I have no questions, out.
Yep. If you're interviewed by several, excuse me, if you're
Every
interviewed by
employer is looking for the individual to be there for a long period of time, irrespective of the reality. Okay? So this is a game about how do you communicate that you want to be within the organization and you want to grow and develop within the organization. You may find at a point in time 2 years down the road, it's not your organization, it's not your passion, it's not what you want to be doing, and you need to move forward. You may find in some cases there's new technology that you want to go and explore, that you want to go play with, that's really kind of really interesting to you, and you want to go pursue it, right? So those types of things, you can't control that side of the equation, but what we do try and do is control the upside of the equation. And I think one of the things I shared with the team, the council members, when we first met was some U.S. Labor Department statistics that are out there. For those of you who are graduating last year or this year, by the time you're 34, you know what the U.S. Labor Department expects you to have in terms of jobs? How many? Yeah, not 5. A little more than that. Yep. No 2 of which will be the same. More than that. 14. 14. Because the technologies today are changing so fast, the work environment's changing so fast, the roles and responsibilities of individuals are changing so fast, and there's a lot of dynamics that are out there that are at play. And remember, we're in a global economy.
Mark, is that 14?
Then the interview. Now, there's different types of interviews. How many employers here use phone interviews? Great. Why do employers use phone interviews?
Cheap.
Screen people out, you don't have to take up everyone's time. Now, phone interviews are difficult for many people. And that's something you gotta practice as well. Usually you're on a conference call with several people asking questions. So you gotta prepare that. How am I gonna articulate clearly, concisely, sell myself over the phone? It can be a challenge.
It also demonstrates immediately communication skills and capabilities. And one of the things that we look for in a phone interview is we look for conciseness. Did you answer the question that I put forward to you? Did you give me a relevant response to the question? In other words, did you answer the question? Not just was it concise, but did you answer the question that was put forward? And can you communicate and can you hold a conversation? Right? So those are some pretty basic things.
Basic things.
Right? Some pretty basic things.
Mindful of phone interviews for sure. And what other type of interviews are there? Anybody?
Group interview.
Group interviews.
Panel, yep.
Panel. Yep, you can be prepared for those. Search committees, academia, there's some search committees. There's more casual type interviews. So you got to think of the different type of settings that you're going to be in. And again, adapt to the situation. Adapt to the situation. Any other thoughts on types of interviews that, there's structured interviews where there's predetermined questions that everyone's going to ask you, and you're going to sit around and rate them. Johnny did well on this one. And then the more the informal search committee.
Yeah, and then I think case interviews.
Case interviews.
Increasingly at the junior levels, case interviews are being used more and more frequently. So if you haven't participated in a little bit of casework here at Potsdam prior to going out and looking for a job this coming year, this coming May, make sure you do. It's very important. You will take a lot of their common business problems and they see how you solve them, right? One of the ones that we also do is, particularly for folks that are coming directly out of college, we will bring 4 or 5 of you together, and we will put one of our managers in the room with you, purely as an observer. and we will have you do a case as a team. And that feeds into 1/2 of the total evaluation of you as an individual. Why are we doing that?
Team results.
We want to see who rises as the natural leader, who rises as the facilitator, who rises and demonstrates, whether it be technical skills or, whatever the case may be. You learn a lot about people from watching them interact with peer sets that they know that they're competing against. Because day to day, they're competing against those individuals.
Little basic things I think would be helpful to cover. All right, what time do you show up today? 1 o'clock interview. What time do you think you should show up?
12:30.
Yeah, a little early.
That's a little early.
To me, as a hiring manager, yeah, you're at 12:30. What is this? I want you. That's like taking I have my time already allotted. Anyone else?
12:50.
I would say 12:50. I don't know what you think.
Perfect timing.
I like that. You're early.
Perfect timing. 10 minutes to 5 minutes before you're showing up, you go to the receptionist or whatever the situation is. Hi, I'm here.
Gives me time to get organized.
Gives me time to go to the restroom. Gives me time to get a cup of coffee if I want. It gives just perfect.
Dress. Professional, obviously. The rule of thumb is you dress for the position, right? So obviously, if you're a carpenter, you don't have to go with a pinstripe suit.
You better be showing up in Carhartts.
Right. But be professional and neat, Another way to screen someone out. You come in sloppy, your ties undone, shirts out. That's representing yourself, right? Yeah. Not too much cologne, not too much perfume. Again, those are just little things. I know that's very minute, things to remember, obviously. So those are prepared. Go ahead, Connor.
What are your views on facial hair in particular?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
If you're neat,
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah, if you're neat. I'll give you one additional one. Some of you may have tattoos and piercings and things like that may be visible. Make sure that they're covered. If you have multiple earrings going up the ear, figure out how to get it down to one. There's a lot of those things that, while they may be stylish, while they may be appropriate for your gender, while they may be appropriate for your age category, when you're talking about a professional setting, a professional job, they're not. And if you're not clear about what John was talking about how to dress for the event, ask during the acceptance of the interview, or call back and ask. In our organization, it might be 50-50. You might be, if your interview is taking place on a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, you might be expected to be in a suit and tie. If it's happening on a Friday, you may or may not be expected to be in a suit and tie. You may be expected to be in business casual. Definition, where I would come from, it may not necessarily be the same for everybody, but for men, you would be expected to be in a minimum of a sport coat with a collared shirt on, whether it could be buttoned down or it could still be a French cuff shirt, with an appropriate pair of slacks, not khakis. Okay? And, if you're serious about getting the job, you probably ought to be in a tie as well.
It's always better, in my opinion,
Overdressed.
to be overdressed
than underdressed. There's nobody
If
will
there's
fault
a
you.
doubt, if it's, it may be a little awkward, something to ask, how should I dress? Depends. Overdress. No one's going to harm you on that. No one's going to harm you.
What about for women?